Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the Inside Hound Nation podcast. I'm your co-host, Matt LeBossonere, and we got a new guy here at the table, Joe Letizio, our second co-host, back for episode 2. It's been a little bit of a break since episode 1. We had a very busy week with a lot of sports, a lot of new information, new results, and we're excited to talk about that. But first, we're going to introduce Joe. Joe, welcome to the table. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for having me. So I was a Assumption undergrad. I got my degree in marketing with concentration in digital marketing. Now I'm coming back for my grad job as well as a GA position, which will allow me to further develop my skills as a podcast host. I have my own show, and in addition to this, I also realized how much sports have meant to me, and that's also why I wanted to be a part of this team.
Yeah, awesome. So Joe's going to be on the show a lot with us this year, breaking down the past games that we've had, looking towards the future games coming up, and helping us interview coaches and players and stuff like that. So today on episode 2, the agenda, I'm going to touch upon a little recap of the sports that have happened since the last time we saw you guys. Joe's going to get into what's ahead in the next week and a half or so, and then we'll wrap things up. But first, we'll start with field hockey. Field hockey have already played 4 games, and 3 of those 4 have been against 3 of the top teams in the country: West Chester University, Pennsylvania, East Stroudsburg, and Shippensburg University. Unfortunately, the Greyhounds losing all 3 of those contests, but they picked up a win against Southern New Hampshire University, a score of 3-1 in the midweek on Wednesday, September 6th. The Hounds being led so far by Lily Daly, the graduate student. She leading the team with 7 points, 3 goals, and 1 assist, and they have 5 different goal scorers so far: Daly, McSweety, Van Woudenberg, Beauparlant, and Broska. So field hockey, they always start out, they play a lot of the top teams from the PSAC, which is one of the best conferences for field hockey, and we're going to be getting into NE10 play coming soon for them. Moving on to women's soccer, the Assumption women's soccer team, they opened their season with a win on the road against Damon University. Goal scorers Amaya Astia-Sarin and Kate Carlson opening their campaigns, but since then they've played Deauville University and Bentley, both games ending in ties. Ashley Wenzel's the goal scorer in the 1-1 tie against Deauville. They also traveled all the way up to Mercy College, and the game was suspended in the 63rd minute due to lightning. We've had a lot of bad weather this past couple weeks, so a lot of games delayed and things like that. But women's soccer still undefeated at the moment, but still looking to get another win and try to get more goals. So we'll see how they progress as the season goes on. Over to cross country, men's and women's cross country. A little slow start to the season for them in terms of races. They've only had 1 so far. They competed in the 2023 Suffolk Short Course Classic back on September 1st, and they have one coming up, which Joe will speak about. The men finishing in 11th out of 15th, the women finishing in 6th out of 13th. For men's soccer, they've competed in 2 games, both at home, one versus Caldwell University and the College of Staten Island. The Hounds suffered a 2-0 defeat against Caldwell, but they bounced back against Staten Island, a 4-3 win, a super exciting game, lots of goals and fun action, and Johannes soon got 2 goals and the game-winning assist to rookie Peter Hassan. He's got that Norwegian name, it's hard to say, but Johannes and Peter actually played together back in Norway before coming to Assumption, so a cool moment to see them connecting. But for Johannes' efforts, he earned Player of the Week, and Peter got Rookie of the Week, so congrats to them, as well as Grant Maurer, who also scored his first collegiate goal. Assumption was scheduled to play against the University of Maine at Fort Kent last Sunday, but due to inclement weather, the game was canceled. Over to women's tennis, an amazing start for Chris Popa's girls. They are 3-0 for the first time since 2007-2018. They've defeated Holy Cross, Eastern Nazarene College, and Gordon by scores of 5-2, 6-1, and 8-1. So they've only conceded 4 points, quote-unquote, in the tennis matches. Plenty of Greyhounds have started out hot. The D'Souza twins, each being undefeated with records of 2-0 and 1-0. Caroline Matter is 3-0. Jess Wigel and Caroline Schouten are both 2-0 as well, so hopefully tennis can keep things going as their matches continue in the next coming weeks. Over to volleyball, super impressive start for the Greyhounds. They are 4-0, which is their best start since 2006. First-time head coach Stephanie Kazmieraks, first time with Assumption. First year at Assumption, she came from Merrimack, was a head coach there for 2 years. But in her first year, things have looked really positive for the Greyhounds. Alexis Estacio leading the team in kills with 45, and Nadine right behind her with 44. Tatiana Calderon, she's leading the team in setup, 77 assists on the year. And on the defensive side of the ball, Barbara Illich has 79 digs. That's 39 more than the next highest player. So a lot of standout performers for them, particularly in that junior class. So we'll hopefully see a lot more good results for them as they'll be opening their season at home in the next coming week or so. And now to football. Assumption, always very competitive in football. They started out 2-0. They hosted Kutztown here at home, 31-20. Quinn Seeger was the star of the show that day. He had 9 catches for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jake Cady, 103 yards passing and 3 touchdown passes. And on the other side, rookie Owen Fitzgerald, game high 8 tackles and 1 interception. And Brandon Santel had 2 sacks as well. And then the special teams was especially very dominant. Gabriel Bertolazzo was named as the NE10 Special Teams Player of the Week. Owen Fitzgerald picked up Rookie of the Week honors. And then Brandon Santel and Quinn Seeger made honor roll. And then they had another game at Southern Connecticut State University. The big offense carried over. Jake Cady putting in, one can probably say, his best performance as a Greyhound. 6 total touchdowns, 5 through the air and 1 with his legs. That actually earned him the New England Football Writers Association Gold Helmet Award for last week. So congrats to Jake. 334 yards, while Raekwon Washington has sort of emerged as the lead running back so far this year. He had 51 yards rushing. Bailey Collier was the lead wide receiver this week, grabbing 5 passes for 74 yards and a touchdown, while on the other side of the ball, Lorenzo Valencia had 7 tackles to lead the defense. So almost done here. We'll head into golf. Women's golf under new head coach Vincent Sasso leads his team as we speak at the Harvard Hawks Women's Invitational. They competed yesterday as of recording, and they compete today. So by the time this episode comes out, we will know the results of that. And we just got word maybe 5 minutes before hitting the record button about the results from men's golf. They participated in the Franklin Pierce University Fall Invitational the past 3 days. Sean McGarren, he's tied for first at 5 under with a score of 63, and the team finished second among 11 teams. So a little bit of a mouthful, but just a recap of all the fall sports. Obviously, fall is our most busy season, and things really getting kicked off right away at the beginning of September. So that's everything that's happened, all the notable players, highlights, and notable performances. And now Joe will lead us into what's coming up until the next week or week and a half or so.
Thank you, Matt. Based off of just all that information, it's clear to say that our teams are prospering, and they will do so throughout the season. Considering that academics also just started, it's quite an incredible experience just to be back on campus, to feel the atmosphere of the students, the athletes, and everyone in between. Going off of that, for men's soccer, they will travel to Bentley on the 13th. The game starts at 3:30 p.m. Following that match, the men's team will then head to St. Michael's College on the 16th. That match is at 2 p.m. Then after that, the men's team will face off against AIC. That will begin at 4 p.m. on the 19th, and that will be a home game. Following that home match, the men's team will then hit the field against St. Thomas Aquinas College on the 23rd, and that will be a home match as well at 3 p.m. Following that, for the women's soccer team, they will hit the field on the 16th, and they will play away at Adelphi University at 3 p.m. After a few days, our women's soccer team will then play at home against Bentley University. That will certainly be a great match to see, considering how well both sides have been doing. Following that, the women's soccer team will then play at home against Bentley on the 19th. That game is at 7 p.m. The women's match after that will then be on the 19th, and that will be against SNHU at noon. So in regards to tennis, these next few days will be definitely busy for the men's and women's teams. The men's face off against Clark University at 4 p.m. on the 13th. This will be a home game. Following this match, the team will then face off against Wheaton College at 2:30 on the 15th at home, and then the men's and women's tennis teams will also be hitting the courts on the same day. Following the men's and women's teams, they'll also face off against Bentley University on the 16th at noon. In regards to women's tennis, they will also head off to AIC to play at 3 p.m. on the 18th, and then the University of New Haven on the 20th at home at 3 p.m. The day after, the men's tennis will lace up at Gordon College at home. The match starts at 3 p.m., and I recommend anyone that is on campus to go and watch that. Then the men's and women's Tennis team will then hit the courts against Endicott College at noon. The home match is on the 24th. Following this, the field hockey team has been doing pretty well. Bentley University's game against them is at 6 p.m. on the 13th. Following this, Mali University will play against women's field hockey team at 1 on the 16th at home. A few days after that game on the 16th, the field hockey team will travel to SCSU. The game starts at 4 p.m. on the 19th. Following this, the field hockey team will then play against Mercy College at 1 on the 23rd. For volleyball, they have been performing well the past few days, and many individuals have noticed, including myself. Their game begins on the 15th, where the team will face off against Post University at 5 p.m., then SCSU at 7 p.m. on the 15th. Following this, the women's volleyball team is going to face off against St. Salem College on the 19th at home, and this starts at 7 p.m. After this game on the 19th, the team will head to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania to face off against Lock Haven University at 1 on the 23rd, and then Bloomsburg University at 3 p.m. In a few days, as Matt was talking about, cross-country men's and women's teams will travel to UMass Dartmouth Invitational. This starts at 11:15 a.m. on the 16th. Over the weekend, our football team did incredibly well considering that it was an away game. Considering this momentum, it will be interesting and exciting to see how they will face off against Grand Valley State University on the 16th. The game starts at 1 p.m. As for women's golf, they will be heading to FPU Fall Invitational, and they will be there from the 18th to the 19th. During the same time, men's golf team will be at Granite State Opener on the 17th, and the event will conclude on the 19th. After this event, the men's golf team will be heading to SNHU, on the 24th.
So yeah, a lot of things coming up for Assumption Sports. Pretty clear fall is our most busy season, especially in September when things are really going to kick off and the ball gets rolling. One thing I just wanted to kind of jump on what Joe said, women's soccer and volleyball have really started this season on the road, each playing 4 road games, and it still won't be until the next week or week and a half or so until when they open up at home. So to you guys watching, make sure you come out and support, like Joe mentioned, come out to the home games and support your Greyhounds. But just getting back to the swing of things, we'll be looking to add more coaches and players to this podcast as it gets going. But for now, just recapping sports and recapping the past couple weeks that have happened and looking forward to what's to come. We have a very busy September to close out, and we should return with an episode after Family and Friends weekend. But that's going to do it from me and Joe today. As always, for continued coverage of Assumption Sports, make sure you visit our website, AssumptionGreyhounds.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and we'll see you next time.